cool. So recording has been started. Welcome everyone to the Crypto Genius Voice AMA featuring Farmsent. And joining us today, we've got the man himself, Sharif. Hey, Sharif. Welcome once again here. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking as well. So, let's get the AMA started, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. So please tell us a little about yourself, your background, your experience, and basically all of that.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Saleh Sharif. I'm the co-founder and the COO of Farmsent. I look after everything trade related in Farmsent along with my team. We started about a year ago, roughly, and we've been added. Should I introduce Farmsent as well? Hello?
Okay. How about yes. Thanks for sharing, Sharif. How about other team members as well? Can you introduce us to them? What's their background and experience like?
Yeah, perfect. We'll do. So we have a pretty diverse team members in our team in FarmSend. So we have a talented pool of members who come from different walks of life. We have members who come from the Web3 segment who work with layer one blockchain projects. We have members who come in from the trade side of things who deal with the governments, regulators, and so on. We have members that come in from design and farm relations. So my co-founder and CEO, Shristi Yo, who's been working with the Layer 1 project, Janan, who's been our CBO, has been handling everything brand related. So all the visuals you see, the websites, the logos, the fonts that we use, but I really care on design. She is the one handling all of that. John, who's our co-founder and the handles farm relations in Colombia, along with Hugo. So yeah, we have a team that's comprised of all the boxes that we've checked, all the way from trade, Web3, farmer relations, agronomy, and design, and tech as well, of course. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So the project itself now, FarmSet, rumored to be the
Yeah.
world's first farmers blockchain. FarmSet has been said, to be a blockchain platform for farmers and producers, but that's basically, above the surface. Can you give us some more
Yes.
knowledge? Yes. What are your products?
Perfect.
What are your
Uh,
services?
mhm.
What are you bringing to the blockchain space?
Sure. So let me give a bit of history about how did we start FarmSend and what was the core idea behind it. So about a few years ago, we were working with John. Actually, John told me about his uncle by the name of Hector, who's a coffee farmer in Colombia. And he was having a hard time making ends meet, even though he was working really long hours on the farm. But because the way the supply chain or the trade industry is designed, a lot of farmers are placed at the very beginning of the supply chain where they don't really make a lot of money. So once the harvest is done, they hand it over to the distributors or the second guy or whoever deals with the farmers. And people who are at the end of supply chain tend to make most of the money. So the idea initially started off with how can we create a better trade model that currently exists where the farmers are pushed towards the end of supply chain where they can actually name their own prices for the work they're doing, get a 3x income than what they're used to. So once we fix the early stage of supply chain, everything else down the line gets sorted out automatically. So there are better prices for consumers, food security gets ensured, and it kind of affects everybody, including us consumers who are buying the products, who get better returns, better value, ethically sourced products. So that's how the idea started off. So to put it briefly, FarmSend is a blockchain for farmers. What we are trying to do is that create a better trade model that would currently exist by placing the farmers towards the end of supply chain. Initially, by doing so, we are ensuring food security. We're also implementing a blockchain solutions to reduce the number of hands entering the supply chain. In addition to lowering prices, it will be more environmentally sustainable, highly secure, and transparent for everybody involved. Farmers will initially own their own product. We're working with Polygon, and yeah, our team has been at it for a year now. We started off working with Colombia with around 500 farmers. Early on when we started, we were just handling green coffee beans, non-perishable, and now we're working with over 160,000 farmers in Indonesia and are handling about 75 SKUs ranging from rice, corn, coffee, tea, vanilla. So it's been quite a journey, and we've been learning as we go, and and yeah, it's been great.
Interesting. So, how long, did it take you guys to sort of put everything together and come up with the project FarmSense? How
Yeah.
long have you been putting it for?
Oh, it's been quite a journey. So the initial idea actually started off in 2018. And we had another startup in the web too, which was called Beanboard. That's was like the beginning, the inception of how FarmSim came to be. So with Beanboard, we started off in 2018, which was a simple marketplace where farmers could sell their coffee to the buyers here in MENA region. And we were dealing with Colombian coffee farmers. And there were farmers that come from John's family. So Uncle Hector was there, and other neighboring farmers were there too. There were about 60, 70 farms we started off with, and soon we started moving, scaling it to about 200 farms, and then the volume of the product started growing too. We started out with like 500, 600 kgs, and within a couple of years we were doing 25, 30 tons. And we saw that this has to be scaled. We need partners, we need community, we need a lot more products, and we need to scale this from different regions. And at that time, Beanboard was really hard for us to scale it in Web 2, because the problem was not just supply chain, it was payment issues, there were food security issues, there were uh, uh, tampering issues, packaging, there was like banking, financial issues. So all of those things could not be fixed. And at this right time, blockchain was taking a nice boom. So we talked it out, and during 2022, we merged both companies, FarmSend and Beanboard. So when we're coming in with FarmSend, we have that expertise of actual real world trade, working on the ground with farmers. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. I would say about 4 years, 5 years since we've been actually working with farmers, and FarmSend is about a year old. But the experience that we bring in on the table, it's about 5 years since the initial idea of the better trade model started off. That was 5 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. All right then. So let's talk about your tokenomics now, the farm token. Give us, an introduction into its tokenomics. What are its utilities? What are its staking functions? And
Hmm.
what incentives,
Hmm.
does it provide holders?
Sure. So considering the issue that we're tackling is a global issue, we would like to involve people from all parts of the world to help us resolve this, right? So one of the ways we're resolving it is through our token offering, which enable the community to help the farmers and ensure food security. So our token use cases is pretty straightforward. It's ecosystem fees, commission, governance, and security deposit for our buyers who want to come onto the platform and start trading, buying from the farmers. They have to use farm tokens to put a security deposit. So our token is called Farms, and our entire marketplace and the entire ecosystem is layered on top of our tokens, which are going to be used for governance feeds and security deposit, and kind of add an extra layer of security to our platform, because we know that's one of the main important key elements of running a marketplace is ensuring that the buyers are well audited. We know that these guys are going to pay in time, the farmers are protected, and security plays a really well element, a very well like layer to that. And yeah, we have our entire tokenomics on our website, on our white paper. You guys can go on farmsend.io, read up the white paper. Tokenomics is there. All the announcements about the tokenomics. But now we're going to be launching. It's being updated on our Telegram group, FarmSend. Please, guys, join us, be part of it. So all the information is there. Yeah.
All right, cool. So has this
Yeah.
token been launched? How and where can users get it?
Yeah, sure. So the token has not been launched yet. We're going to be launching it on the first week of June next month. We're negotiating with a few exchanges currently. We're launching it with probably 5 or 6 exchanges at once. And yeah, so right now we're having the private sale and the token swap currently happening. You guys can check out Telegram group. All the information about the private sale and token swap is currently going on. Yeah, and we'll keep you guys updated once we launch our tokens for sure.
All right, that sounds awesome. So, talking about your NFTs now, can you tell us about your NFT and LFT launch? Because I see you plan to have a launch for NFTs. So, tell us, what would these
Yeah,
NFTs be like?
that's a good one. So NFTs have been the talks that we've been having from day one. How can we create or rather have the entire ecosystem play around the NFT, because the NFTs have a really big potential, especially in trade, in security, and recognizing ownership of the products, who actually owns the products, right? So our NFTs are called Friends of Farmers. It's called PO for short, and we'll be launching it right after the token release. We've designed, had the entire idea behind it composed. It's all ready. So one of the main reasons why the NFTs are so important in FarmSend is that our buyers can actually bid on products that are being auctioned for discounted prices using the NFTs. So buyers who have the NFTs can actually use that to auction. It also add another layer of security for our ecosystem, and also it's another way of ownership. So let's say buyers who are buying products from Indonesia, Zambia, or Colombia, a lot of these products, actual products like real world assets, for example, rice, corn, will be NFTs. So the invoices, the uh, quality assurance, the quality documents, the certifications are all part of the NFTs. So when buyers buy, they get those NFTs, which are used as a ownership certificate, where they can pass it on to the next person they sell it off to. It includes origin of certificate of origins, verifications, authenticity. So yeah, that's one big way of how we're doing the NFTs. The other thing is also when shipments move from one hand to another, there's a lot of people involved. And a lot of these times, we're not in control of knowing who the next person is and how do we rate or audit that person. So NFTs helps with that a lot. So a person who receives the product also receives the NFT, which is pegged with that product. So the person who receives the product can actually rate the previous person who was handling the product through the NFT. So if the product was delivered properly, was not tampered, nothing was touched or broken, they can rate the person by, let's say, 5 stars or so. If something was wrong with it, they rate it with 4 or 3 stars. So we know, okay, which part of the supply chain had an issue and should we work with that person going forward or not. So yeah, it adds a really big layer of security, which is really hard in the Web 2. Because with Web 2, we're relying heavily on third party, fourth party shipping companies, distributors who are taking care of a lot of those things. And when something goes wrong, we cannot trace it back to, okay, who was the person who mismanaged it, or where did the shipping, where did things go wrong? So yeah, NFT is going to be a core value, a core element in our ecosystem. Hope that answers the question. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? 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 I think I'm having troubles. Can you guys hear me? Can you
Hello, Sharif. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So, I was asking about your collaborations and partnerships. What can you tell us about that? What are some of the collaborations you've
Yeah,
had and partnerships?
sure. So we have quite a lot of partnerships, and this is one of the most beautiful part of being in the Web3 space is collaborations, and everybody works with other projects. It was really not as common in Web2, where all the other startups and projects were working in isolation. So it's one thing we find really beautiful in this space is that a lot of companies, a lot of projects want to come in and exchange ideas, and it's all open source. That's really good too. So we are working with Five Harvesto from Indonesia. They're a beautiful project that do NFT land for farmers. So they have a similar idea of how we NFTing our projects. These guys work with farmers there. They're helping us expand our operations to a lot of areas where we can't focus on at this point. We are working with Courist, which are our carbon offset program partners who are helping our farmers to offset their carbon footprint. We have Wenly, which is taking care of our farmers' wallet. We are working with Polytrade. That's another beautiful partnership that we have where our buyers can actually take credit for the products that they will be buying. In case if they don't want to pay upfront, they can work with Polytrade and figure out a way to pay in installments or to pay pay like parts in segments. And yeah, Ryan Coffee, again, another partner from Indonesia. They're helping us with the farmers. So yeah, we have quite a few partners in that space. That's the few that I can think about right now.
All right, awesome stuff. So down to my last question now. Can you give us a recap? How's it been like since you started building FarmSense? What are your major accomplishments? What are you working on? What should we expect in the next couple of weeks or months?
Right, quite a lot actually. We've been working with a lot of different areas, from trade to partnerships, government regulations, expansions, so on and so forth. So let me start off with expansion first. So we are currently operational in 3 countries. So in Indonesia, in Colombia, our countries as from the farmer side of things. We're soon will be operating in Zambia as well in Africa. In terms of the buyer segment, we're registered in Bahrain, in Dubai, and soon we'll be registering in KSA in Saudi Arabia as well. And in terms of farmers, we're working with over 160,000 farmers in Indonesia and in Colombia, and we have about 75 SKUs ranging from rice, coffee, vanilla, tea, and we're currently testing our alpha, which is almost done, and we'll be launching our marketplace by, let's say, Q3 of this year. And also the our NFT Pro will also be launched. We've completed the work on designs, the idea behind it, the use case of it. That's been mapped out. We're also working on our farmers wallet, which is another technology which is actually the core value where farmers can actually list their products, receive payments, and even convert crypto into fiat in cases where farmers are not, or laws are not straight to receive payments in crypto. So we also have that sorted out. The farmers can actually request payment in fiat. So yeah, a lot of those things are sorted out, mapped out. Our next milestone is going to be on launching our tokens, releasing them to the public, making our community pretty strong and engaging, and having a marketplace launch where we're going to be actually working on real world asset, doing trade on the marketplace. So yeah, a lot of things are in work, and a lot of things are coming in place too. Yeah, that's the answer to the question. I think I should say done when I'm done with the answer to make it clear. Hello? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You were sort of
Perfect.
breaking out, but yeah,
Okay.
it's cool now. We can. Yes, yes.
Perfect.
So I think that ends that. We'll be moving to questions from Twitter now, if that's okay by you.
Let's do that.
All right, cool. So I sent a message in the community. Everyone, do not forget to join and follow FarmSense on Telegram and on Twitter. Okay? Cool. All right. So taking the first question now from Twitter. Let me quickly bring that one up. Okay. It's here. It says, what are some of the difficulties and potential in integrating perishable to the blockchain platform? How does FarmSense intend to broaden its product offerings beyond non-perishable ones in the future?
That's a really, really good question. So in terms of, so just to be clear, that FarmSend right now is doing non-perishable, which include products that have a long shelf life, like rice, coffee, green tea, nuts, cooking oil, and so on and so forth. Because these are a lot easier to handle. In terms of perishable, the biggest challenge I would say is sensitivity. Uh, so what happens with perishable is that they have a limited shelf life, let's say a couple of months, and the conditions, shipping conditions and logistics have to move really quickly for it to be delivered, handled, properly stored in those couple of months that we have to actually work around with that product. So we, at this stage, we can't do fruits, vegetables, and other such products, and also supply chain complexity. So because a lot of shipments move through containers, so if you're doing perishable goods, it has to be properly the temperature has to be properly controlled, humidity has to be sorted out, and delivery has to be really quick from A to B, and no stops should be required if they're not necessary. So for us to get into that, we need to first map out the entire supply chain with non-perishable, as they're easy to handle. Even shipping, if there's a delay in shipping for a couple of weeks, it doesn't really, if there's a delay in shipment for a couple of weeks, it doesn't really matter that much for the product if they're properly stored, that is. So once we map out the entire supply chain, once we launch our marketplace and we're in business, let's say for a couple of months and tested everything out, we definitely will be looking into perishable. But at this current stage, we are not. We're just focusing on non-perishable goods. I hope that answers the question.
All right, cool. So second one says, what safeguards are in place to guard against fraud and tampering? And how does the farmer's blockchain track and verify the veracity of the data being recorded on the blockchain?
Right. That's a good question again. So like I mentioned earlier, tampering, it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's really common, but it happens a lot in trade in general, because there are a lot of people that we rely on that we don't necessarily have full trust on, but because of their third party that, source, outsource, or rather work with companies that they know that we necessarily don't know. So these things happen. But in our cases, like I said, NFT plays a big role in tampering those things, right? So how we were working out with that is having NFTs pegged or linked with an actual shipment, an actual product of shipment. Let's say 30 or 10 tons of coffee or rice is pegged with one NFT that represents that shipment for a particular client, and everything in that shipment, which is the certificate of origin, the health certificate, the quality assurance, the certificate of payments, and so on and so forth, it's in that particular NFT. And once it moves from a farmer to a particular, let's say, distributor, he will rate that NFT or that shipment by ways of, let's say, how you rate a certain product when you buy it on eBay. And that continues until it reaches the end consumer. So when the second or third party rates and shipment that it was not properly handled with a few stars, we know where the shipment went wrong, and we can take a proper measure in that. And the other thing also is that everything is open source, everything is decentralized. The payment, when we are listing a product on our marketplace, the payments are completely open. A farmer can see that, and a buyer can see that, how much a farmer is charging, how much a distributor or a shipment agent is charging. So what that does, that creates a natural competition for everybody that's involved in the supply chain. For example, if a shipping agent or a distributor is quoting $10 or $20 to handle that, some guy might come and say that, okay, you know what, I can do that for $5. So that creates a natural competition. And in return, also, it creates a complete decentralized operation where everything is being recorded in real time and people can see that. So when something goes wrong, we know where it went wrong. We know who to blame, or okay, how can we fix that right away? So yeah, uh, open source decentralization, in blockchain for sure, it counts for that. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it certainly does. All right. So trying to pull up the last question now. Sorry, third question rather says, do you have current competitors and what is special about the projects that can attract users?
Good question. So we do have current competition that's in the Web2 space. So a lot of competition we have right now are people or startups that are working on a similar idea, like a marketplace farmer to table, pretty regional, on a regional basis, right? They're not as global as we aim to be, and also they're not in the Web3 segment. They're still working with banks, they're still working with centralized authorities, where we're coming in with full decentralized blockchain, offering tokens and so on. And so, what does that allow us to do? Is include new technology that's really hard for us to do in Web2. So, for example, fair future contract is another innovation that we're bringing on the table, where farmers can actually sell their future harvest which haven't been harvested yet. For example, there's a harvest coming in by December and farmers want to sell that before harvesting, so that allows farmers to get an advance capital to work on that shipment, hire people on the farm, get coffee pickers, whoever they need to help with that shipment. And buyers can also book that when the prices of those shipment are favorable to the buyer. Also, what we are offering is NFT bidding, where buyers can, like I talked about, where buyers can actually bid on products that are being sold for discounted rates. And that's an idea we took from actual bidding that happens in Kenya, it happens in Colombia, where buyers actually bid on coffee in like auctioned houses, like a auction warehouse where a lot of these products are being sold into. But you have to be present in those places to place bid on those. And the really cool thing about this is that you can just do it sitting in your house, just having an NFT you can bid on tea or rice or coffee, just sitting in your house. You get to bid on those. The other thing what we have is a Farmers Foundation, where 5% of our tokens are allocated for farmers, for betterment of farmers, for education, for solar panels, for improving their lives. So these things are really hard to do. In our current competition also can't implement those because they're in Web2. So yeah, they're quite a few things that we're bringing on the table. Hope that answers the question.
Smooth. Yeah, it certainly does. So here's the part one says, do you believe that partnerships and collaborations is key for a project to succeed? If yes, can you give us details of present partners? I think we talked about partners
We
already.
talked about
So
this. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's we can move on, or we
Yes.
can
All
have
right. So
another,
the
or we can, yeah, sure. Yeah.
last one now says, what are some of the challenges FarmSense has faced in its development, and how has these challenges been overcome?
Yeah. Sure. So that's is a good one. I think our biggest challenge right now is working with regulators, governments. So we cannot be fully decentralized as we're dealing with farmers and actual trade. So we do still need to work with regulators, federations, associations who are working with farmers, government entities to kind of make it easier for us to do trade. While we're in the Web3 where everything moves really fast, government entities are really slow. The bigger the entity, the slower they move. So dealing with those paperwork and regulators and trying to just abide by the law kind of make things to move a little slower when we want to onboard farmers and really tight neighborhoods and rural region where it's not easily accessible. We have to deal with federations, and those things kind of slow the entire operation down a bit. And also, the other thing, I think it actually is our advantage, where so a lot of farmers don't really have knowledge about Web3 and how these things work. So getting that idea through does take a lot of time, because the farmers do, for example, a lot of farmers don't really have bank accounts where they actually go to federations to get paid. Federations, these guys buy the products for cheap, so they pay the farmers in cash. But what we are trying to do is eliminate a lot of those bottlenecks by giving them farmers wallet, where it's a simple app or a simple application where these guys can just download it, list the products they have, and the payment gets to them directly. There's no banks involved, there's no intermediary, and they get, without paying, let's say, a conversion fee or any of those things, they get payment done quickly and easily. Because we've dealt with bank we know how hard is it for us to even send monies to countries where our bank doesn't really have an affiliation with. Uh, we've had uh, we've had situations where our bank account got frozen because we were sending money to farmers in Colombia. These things do happen, and a lot of these things are really well addressed and handled in Web3. But I think the biggest challenge at this point is regulations, government, auditing, which again, we want to make sure that everything we're doing is properly audited, everything is secure, everything is done by the law. And we cannot act like an internet company where people can just download the application and start using it, like a lot of other companies are doing in this space. For us, is that okay? We have to work with regulators. Things tend to get slow, but we don't really like to look at it as a challenge. It's another opportunity to make it better. But yeah, that is what it is.
Perfect. Thank you once again, Sharif. It's been super awesome. Thanks for answering all of those questions. Now we've got the last part. That is questions from our live audience, those who have been listening to you speak. So are you ready to take those?
Yes, please, let's do it.
All right. So guys, put up your hands if you've got questions for Shale, and do not forget to have joined and followed FarmSense on Telegram and on Twitter. It is a prerequisite for you to share in the $100 reward pool the team has made possible. So I'm gonna bring up Famous OB for the first one. Hey Famous, can you hear us?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, how do you plan to retain long-term investors and what are the benefits of retaining them? Are you planning to move to another blockchain in the future or launch your mainnet? That's my questions.
Yeah. So to answer the second part of the question first, no, we're not. We're sticking with Polygon. We're quite happy. And the first part of the question, so our concern at this point is farmers. Everything else kind of is second. For us too is onboarding farmers and getting the idea out right now is the focus as opposed to investors. But our entire tokenomics is designed in a way that the token has a really, it has a like a real life value where it's not just being used for something that's digital realm that doesn't really have much value in the atom world that we live into. Our token is pegged with, or rather being used in the marketplace where it's being traded, where it's being listed as a deposit, where a lot of things are moving around it, products are moving around it. So the entire idea rather is gonna speak for itself. So we leave it to that. I hope that answers the question. I'm twisting it a bit.
Thank you very much.
Hello, can you? Yeah, okay. I thought
Okay,
you
cool.
lost me there.
Thanks, Obi. Let's take Son Adam now. Son Adam, you have been added.
Hello. Come in.
Yes.
Okay. Since I want to invest in your project, can you tell me how can I get support and what are your project goals? Tell me in simple terms.
Yes. So currently we're having the private round ongoing. So if you want to invest, you can. You can go to our Telegram account. All the information is there. You can go on our website. All the information about investment is currently there. So the best way for you would be to join our Telegram. You can find all the information available there. So I'd say just go about it. Hope that answers the question. And also, please do read our white paper or light paper, which is kind of like a smaller, shorter, tighter version of the white paper. All the information about our idea, about the project, tokenomics, all the questions you guys have been asking is mentioned there. It's only one page. So it's a lot easier for you guys to understand. Also, FarmSend Telegram account, all the information about private sale, token swap is there. Hope answers that question.
Thank you very nice answer.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, cool. So I've also added Emeka, or is it Emaka? Can you hear us?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my question is, trust is the most important thing in very business in life. So, can you please tell us what makes users, investors, and customers safe when they are working with you?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat it, please?
Okay, I repeat my question. Trust is the most important thing in very business in life. So, can you please tell us what makes users, investors, and customers safe when they are working with you?
Oh, so I think I just got that. What's the most important thing in our project, and what are the users, investors, and partners getting out of it? Is that what you said?
I think I heard that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just answer that. So the most important idea, or rather vision of our project is food security. As we all know that post-COVID, a lot of supply chain, a lot of issues been happening all across the world where shopping centers, rather like grocery stores have having difficulty storing products, and that's because we rely on one set of supply chain. We've been relying on one uh, designed supply chain for about few decades now, and it hasn't changed. So when things like that happen, let's say COVID-19 or something like that happens, it destroys it, rather like it disrupts the entire ecosystem. Everybody gets affected by that. So our main goal is to make, or rather have a better trade model, supply chain that we rely on, that is in place and it's not controlled by one or two entities. Rather, it's controlled by people and farmers. A trade model that just allows farmers to have a better living and ensures food security. And we're not talking about a token, we're not talking about something digital run. It's actual products, actual farmers. We're working with real farmers. These are not farmers in the NFT or gamified farmers. These are actual people. An actual product that we use from day to day. So for investors, for partners, for our users, what we're trying to offer is a trade model, products that we're going to be using in the near future and affordable. Because what's happening, the prices of, as we all know, rice, flour, they're skyrocketing. And this is going to keep happening. Products are going to go up high. Farmers will abandon farming. And it will not be good for us in the near future to live in a place where everything is expensive, uh, everything costs way too much for us to even like imagine like in the next 5-10 years, rice is going to be a luxury product. That's just unheard of. That's what's going to happen if things continue. So our goal is provide food security and allow farmers to set their own price for their product. They're the ones working in the farm day to night. They should be the one deciding the prices, not the federation and not some commodity exchange. And product should be supply chain is pretty complex, should be simplified, and then should be moved from one end to another. That's it. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. I've also brought up, let's see here, I think Billy. Hey, Billy, you're up next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question is, as a retail farmers, what kind of benefits I will get if I choose farm set rather than traditional market? And do you have any rewarding system who will produce more good crop to sell?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So with farmers, so our main focus has been how to increase the income of the farmers, right? And also a lot of farmers are unbanked, meaning like a lot of farmers would not have a bank account, banks will not give them loan, they're not financially viable. So our goal has been how can we give them financial freedom? So one of the main reasons we're doing it is for that. And we have a farmers foundation where 5% of our tokens are listed for farmers. So farmers can be rewarded loans, can be given higher income, can be pegged with, sorry, can be matched with buyers around the world. So, and also fair future harvest where farmers can sell their future products which are not harvested yet to buyers at a price that farmers decide, not the market. And that creates additional revenue for farmers, and also gives them financial freedom, like I said, where they don't have to wait around for federations to pay them. Here, if they have the farmer's wallet, they get paid right away in time without any additional fees. The second part of the question was a rewarding system for farmers. So Farmers Foundation does that. Everything is mentioned in the white paper and light paper as well about this, but just to clarify that a rewarding system works around with farmers is completely different than it's with users and investors. So with farmers, it's the Farmer Foundation that takes care of it. Farmers that are part of our ecosystem automatically get farms token, get NFTs, which in return will give them an additional revenue stream. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, sir, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, cool. So I think that's the last one we'll be taking. Let's call it a day. Do you have some closing words you'd like to add? Probably something we've
Yeah.
not already discussed.
Yeah, for sure. So my closing word would be that to everybody listening right now, it's what the problem we're tackling is a global issue. Food is global. You might not need internet, but food is necessary. And this is what we're talking about, how to get food across the world, affordable prices. And also all the people listening to know that to ask questions when they're buying their product, when they're consuming something, to know where the products are coming from, who are the people behind those products. That kind of creates a discussion when we start talking and asking questions like these. That's what I would want to say to people is that ask questions about who the people growing the products, where the product's coming from, and who you're actually benefiting when you're buying those products. Because one way you're voting is with your money. So just know who you're voting for. And the other thing would be, please guys, join our Telegram, our social media, Twitter. All the discussions are happening. We're announcing our tokens pretty soon. So if you guys are there on Telegram, all the announcements are happening. We just signed a partnership with CoinStore, so that's coming soon too. So please, guys, join us on social, Telegram, Twitter. Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. Really, this has been great. It's been one of the most fun I've had in a while.
Thank you as well. Best wishes to the team. Continue to, progress to the moon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. That was Saleh Sharif from the team. Do not forget to always do your own research. Everything that was said here was never a financial advice. Until next time, see you all in another EMA. Bye-bye.